Jason Terry, good defense. Way from behind, takes it away. Chalmers, oh,
What's going on, everybody? Yeah, that is a bop. That is a bop.
It is a bop.
We're waiting for Mr. Bostic to put some words to that track. So shout to hit a classic. But what's going on, everybody? Yeah, in the studio. Gotta give him the studio. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Run the Break podcast. I'm your wise brother, aka Big Baby. And to my right, we have the coach, the final boss himself, the people's champ. Shot Big Ron, aka Stu, aka Randy. What's going on, brother?
Man, I'm good, man. You know, I'm putting double duty today. We just wrapped up the brawl today. We did a good episode with Marks and Mike. Shout out to those guys, Dallas Cash. Shout out to BK Matt. You know, obviously Matt has become a member of the Brawl family, so he filled in pretty good. Shout out to JT from Marks and Mike. Shout out to Dallas Cash, Kid Ty, and of course E, who might want to get himself back into talking about baseball soon with everything going on in the baseball world. Shout out to the Dog Days of Baseball.
Shout out to the Dog Days of Baseball podcast. Listen, the talent is the complete talent exchange has to happen. The transfer portal, right?
That's what it is. That's what it is, dog. That's what it is, man.
Yeah, no. Shout out to them. They'll be back soon, especially with all the baseball news going on and Dodgers continuing to cheat and pay everybody all the money. But, we'll talk about that on another day on another episode or on the show, the Your Sports Show Network. But speaking of the Your Sports Show Network, shouts to everybody on the network. Shout to Ronnie himself, myself, Clean Tay, BK Matt, the voice of Generation Pizzato, Riz. Just shout out to that, and also shout out to the Job Network, of course. Your sports show happened originally, so I will never not shout them out. So shout out to the team and the crew over there. Shout out to the bro.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the bro. Y'all been doing a lot longer than we have. For sure.
Yeah, man.
Yo, and also
we gotta go into that.
Shout out to the sports hit list as well.
Everybody shout out to Carl. Oh yeah, to Carl, I know you want smoke and to come on the show and talk. Listen, anytime, any place.
Anytime.
You already know where to find me.
Listen, we got lines of people that want to jump on and just talk ball and just want to argue.
You just want to argue about the Celtics.
Listen, I don't want to argue about the Celtics till after Jimmy Butler get traded.
Yeah.
After that happens, and then I see what we get in return. Yeah, that's not arguing.
Yeah.
But it's been a wild week. Actually, a wild 2 weeks in basketball. The Cavs been actually showing us that they're legit.
They look for real. I mean, listen, man.
The Boston Celtics, Boston Celtic game for the most part. I'm not here to disrespect the Celtics. I just think the Celtics should be world beaters, and they're not right now.
No comment.
Okay, cool.
No comment.
The Knicks are kind of going through it in a way due to injuries and just, I think, some slowdown in momentum a bit.
I mean, there's a couple of things. What I will say about the Knicks, parts of the reason why the struggle isn't happening, I know most fans are going to be like, oh, the minutes and all that kind of good stuff. It's like, bro, when you made the trade for Karl Towns, you gave a piece of your depth that you know you needed in DiVincenzo. It's one thing you get away from Randy, that contract. That's right.
Yeah.
That contract plus the whole fix and straight up, that would have been easy. But you gave up a piece of your depth in Dante DiVincenzo. Guy who's 6'4", who can definitely play defense, play the passing lanes, and knock down, timely open shots, especially from the perimeter. You lost a bit of that. And then you have the basic supplement. I'm not saying, it was a bad thing for them to do, but they struck while the iron is hot. You were going to pay Randall at the end of the offseason. Going into the next offseason, you had to make this trade. And you knew going into the season you had to build yourself for a 3 to 4 year window, knowing that this year, regardless of whatever happened, success or not, you knew this wasn't just for this year to be title or bust. And you knew to do that, you had to sacrifice your bench. And it sucks, but it is what it is. For me, I'll see what happens when Mitch gets back because I know he's a week away from these practice or running. He's lost some weight since his last appearance. He was north about 285, close to 290. He's got it down to 268. Hopefully when they get him running, maybe we'll see, okay, where they can get him back on practice in 5 on 5. Because I do believe the fact that, him helping with the offensive rebounding and interior defense will help a little bit.
Mhm.
I'll see how that goes along on that front. Right now, I know they're struggling, but I'd rather be struggling in third seed in the East, 27 and 14, 15 or 16 or whatever, than being 16 and 27.
I agree.
So I'd rather be on that side, do 42 games and having that than just being, a team that's struggling. So like I don't necessarily want to be in that position where it's just like, oh, like, we're in this position, but it's just like, nah, like I'd rather be where we're at right now and keep it there because it's like the season's 82 games. I think people kind of forget. I think current fans are impatient because they're expecting the playoffs to start in January when it doesn't. It begins in April. And I think that it kind of offsets what people who've been watching hoop for a long time, like it starts to, get into your head a little bit. Like maybe these youngins are right. Maybe these kids are like, oh, the season's too long. Like, no, it's not too long. It's always been
not too long. It's been 82 games forever.
But I think the attention span of these fans today are like, oh, the season doesn't mean anything. I'm like, you need the regular season to get to the playoffs.
Right.
Like, why you say these?
That's also how some of the players. That's how some of the players play, right? As much as I love Jimmy Butler is not a regular season player. Jimmy Butler doesn't put it on and play until playoffs.
The players are a huge part of that reason too. Like they're a huge part of it. Like you definitely should be like participating, playing your best through an 82 games. I'm not saying like you'll play your best game 7 from October to early April. I'm just saying play how you're supposed to play and then raise your intensity in the playoffs when that moment comes. These players, they pack it in because the money's too good now. So it's like, okay, I'm already a commodity. I can just phone it in. And then when the playoffs come, that's when I'll show my medal. And I know we're going to talk about the Adam Silver stuff because I know you sent me stuff in terms of what Adam Silver said on the herd with Colin Cowherd. I will preface by saying, like, what he said about load management is exactly what we've been saying privately and on this show when we first started, run the break. So I will say, when it comes to that, it's just like, I think fans got to really, really take a step back and really reassess how they consume the game of basketball because thinking like that is dangerous and why the ratings have fallen out of favor. Like those are the other elements in terms of why like the viewership has gone down. Fans and select players are part of that reason. So I think once they figure that out from that standpoint and take ownership of that, I think everything else on the outside of it in terms of promotion of the game will be all
right. I agree. All right, so boom. One of the questions we kind of touched on last week, but I think it's an important question that has been going around lately, and it's that are NBA teams spending enough time teaching the game of basketball? Right, no players know how to play basketball. Clearly, you're in the NBA, you're getting paid for it. But are teams teaching the game, the ins and outs of the game? And the off court stuff, you learn as you go. But we're talking about the X's and O's. Like, I don't feel like we have enough players that know where everybody is supposed to be on the court. Like, I think players just know their position and what they're supposed to be doing. Not like, hey, if we're running a specific play, I know my 3 is supposed to come up to the hash, set a screen for my 4 or to come down the baseline, like, and they're supposed to know what's going on so that if the play breaks, they're able to adjust. But I don't think these people know what's going on anymore. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, for me personally, man, I don't think there's enough. I don't think players understand basic plays in the game of basketball. The only thing that they know is the cut screen, high screen. You can either shoot, you can either go. Uh, you know, it's either the 3-point shot, a layup, or ways to get to the line. There's no middle ground. I think there was a video that you showed me, like I saw that you posted this morning.
The
BJ
BJ Armstrong.
Armstrong. Yeah, about
Mhm.
like the idea of FIBA rules and spacing. I think he is right on the first premise on the fact that like the spacing is completely gone in term because it's
Yes.
always and like people say, well, it's more spacing in today's game. Yeah, but at the same time, it's like because of that, it's hard for players today to comprehend where they're going to be on the floor, whether they want a mid-range jump shot or they want to post up, or if they want a regular pick and roll to get somebody to cut down or pick and pop, depending on the angles of the floor. It's hard to run basic plays because one, players today don't necessarily know like how to coordinate themselves within those kind of plays. It's hard for them to understand. Because remember, a lot of these kids that came over the last 15, 20 years, they're from the AAU generation where it's like you just go out there, you play, you show out, this at the third, and not much structure. The only time that they learned structure was within the year of college ball just to go to the NBA. It's not enough time to really know the game of basketball. So when you're coming in, it's like these coaches have to adjust and to these players now. They don't have to the players don't have to adjust to the coaching. I think the NBA, the league itself, kind of did a flip in terms of how the game is supposed to be presented. The best quality of play is supposed to be presented. And I know that the NBA is like, oh, this is the best quality of play, this, that, and the third. While on the surface it might be true, but on the surface you're also doing the game a disservice because everything that made the game great before you've taken those pieces away. There's not, and this is also something that we talked about on this show about like stuff that you took away that made the game great is also the same things that are making the game, I wouldn't say unwatchable, but it's getting to a point where fans are tuning out in droves, and it's reflected in the ratings. Right. You just had, there is hope. I'm not saying it's across, league wide, but you know, it's great where you can still see games like Oklahoma City versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Both games, even the blowout game, where you saw the fact that they still have elements of actual basketball. We have teachers like Mark Dagnall, and Kenny Atkinson who breathe, live, and teach the game of basketball from the lowest form to where they're supposed to be, and every fraction of where these guys are at the juncture of the season, they found a way to ratchet it up. Like you see, like OKC didn't have, you know, uh, Hartenstein in the lineup. Caruso was though, but they don't have Chet Holmgren. But Cleveland was fully loaded and ready to go. They exploited what their bigs couldn't do with their athleticism and speed. Were able to get to every loose ball, use their wings to basically supplement, what the Cavs really don't got. Like the Cavs are what the Cavs strength is, the Cavs weaknesses are what the OKC strength is in terms of the ability to have wings to attack, a Donovan Mitchell or a Darius Garland, forcing them to make bad shots. Whereas, like Ty Jerome or Sam Merrill or whoever, like you have, Dean Wade who's on that team as well, to space the floor, their wings are incomparable or not comparable to those of Oklahoma City because of what they have, their skill set. So you see what coaching does and preparation does for a team for a big game like that, and I think that's been something that's been missing from certain teams that you see, and you know even inside the NBA, there was talks about like, does coaching matter? And of course, Shaq's thoughts on it is like, well, coaching doesn't matter. I got 4 rings. Like you wouldn't got those 4 rings if Phil Jackson was able to game manage your ego within the triangle offense. Kobe doesn't have 5 rings if he didn't acquiesce to what Phil was teaching within the triangle offense. As much as basketball is about the game on the floor, it's also about X's and O's. It's all about the mental preparation too. And I don't think that a percentage of coaches or or teams do that enough in terms of educating the game. I think it's because of the AAU, again, the way the AAU system is basically, teaching them just, okay, you're the main guy, score, instead of like learning what your role is, learning what your value on the floor is, what your skill set is, what your specialty is. If everybody does the same shit, there's no specialty in what you do. There's no uniqueness to what you bring to the table because you can be bought, you can be traded for anybody else.
There's no more specialty players, as I said. Yeah, there's no more specialty players, like I said in the first episode. There are no more like 3-point shooting, like no more strictly like, hey, this is the guy you have to guard because he's a shooter. There's no more Del Curry. There's not many more Rex Chapman. There's not any more those type of players. Ray Allen towards the end of his career, Kyle Korver, Jason Capono, those type of guys. We don't have many more 3-point specialists. We don't even have any defensive specialists anymore because of how the game is played. You remember the Samuel Dallenberg, the Larry Sanders in his short time in the league. What's his name? There's a bunch of guys, right? There's a bunch of defensive guys, bigs, who protected the rim. And then you also had perimeter defenders. You had the GPs, you had the Kawhi, like you had Larry Hughes, who was the underrated two-way player. You had a lot of players. Tony Allen, of course, the one Tony Allen, like you had a lot of players.
First team all defense.
First team all defense. The Patrick Beverly, right? You have players who are good at specific things that would help and play a part, an integral part to the team's success. Now that everybody is a jack of all trades and a master of none, you now just have a team where everybody does the same thing. It's basically you can put a team of players anywhere between 6'4" and 6'9", 1 through 5, and that's your team. Right? You could put 5, 6, 9 players on the team. If they all have the same skill set, they all can dribble, they all can handle the ball, they all can shoot somewhat, they're athletic, have some defensive mind, they're able to be on the floor. But that goes back to what you said about the AAU, right? Because everybody in AAU is the same, right? Who scores the most buckets? Cool, you're on the floor. You can help score buckets, you're on the floor too. Like there are people not like I can remember, right? We come from an era where glue guys were important, right? The Oakleys, the Masons, those guys, right? I'm mentioning those because obviously, from New York,
Like Fox of the world, about the Warriors of the world, Bruce Bowen, guys like that. Utility guy.
Yeah, you need utility guys. We don't have it anymore. And those spots are not being used on the bench anymore.
It's crazy because it's like
it's terrible, but
sad. Like it's sad because it's like people keep like fans always talk about you want the growth of the game, you want the game to be like pinnacle where it's supposed to be at. But it's like as much as us fans can say that, it's also on the franchises. It's also on like the league to really like take a good look in terms of why a lot of this is basically going on. I'm pretty sure like somewhere in the world, David Stern would be like, this is not why I globalized the game for you to change it and basically acquiesce more so to the players. Like, don't get me wrong, like the players should have a say in terms of how the league should be in terms of the on court, product, as well as them be adequately compensated. But at the same time, it's just like I think the balance is tipped too far in terms of the league bending over to the players in terms of how the game is played. Adam Silver's done a little bit in order to try to to help with that, to band-aid that. more physical defense back into the league. And you can see just by him doing that, you can see like who can basically play through that kind of physicality and defense and who cannot. Like you can see who's it benefiting, which is why it's benefiting teams like the Cavs and the Thunder because of the defense is being rewarded. And those kind of teams, they don't rely on the cliche of what the league is today in terms of okay, it's threes galore, and that's just it. Like they can shoot the three if they want to. They can go downhill if they want to. They can shoot the mid range if they want to. They can use pick and roll, alley oops, back cut screens, run actual sets and plays, and not run the same old, playbook that almost every team uses. Like they find different variations to make themselves, more unique and stand out from each other. And those are things that I will, for me personally, I like to see league wide, not just in select parts like in Cleveland or Oklahoma City or New York to an extent, with a healthy roster. Because I know people are hard on Tiz because of the race and stuff like that. But you got to realize you've basically been handicapped since the start of the season. To be 27-16 handicapped much of the season so far, like, I mean, there's got to be some credit given to his preparation as a coach to get them there. So like you have to kind of like, I feel like coaches should be given more opportunity to teach the game more and allow players to basically become, their full selves because players today going forward are not going to be remembered like Kobe or Jordan or LeBron or KD or Steph because they're going to be like everybody else. They're going to be like, they're going to be a big fish in a small pond where it's like, these guys are basically, a whale in a teardrop.
Yeah.
You can talk about LeBron and Steph. Like these guys stand out. Like you're going to be a big fish, but you're going to be a big fish among everybody else is pretty much the same. Like, these guys are like, they separate themselves because they want a different type of greatness on the floor and to display on the floor so that fans can basically just tune in better. It's a matter of locking in, and it's a matter of the players becoming more mature as well. Because remember, a lot of you guys are coming in one and done. They're very, very young when they come into the league. And just so that you don't get on their bad side, you just let them, you kind of get yourself aside so that you don't want to be, looked at as an old head or like someone
you don't want to be looked at as Larry Brown, basically.
Yeah, you don't want to be looked at as Larry Brown, even though Larry Brown, he was here today, he had it right. He just,
right.
20 years too late to get to the party. But, if this was this time, Larry Brown would have a point. Back then, those are grown men. Like, they were in college like 1 to 2 years, 1 to 2, 3 years possibly. Nowadays, it's just like, you're looking at these guys, they're coming out of college, 19 years old, coming into the league, you get a wad of money, and you get them to tell you to go. I need you, like, you can't necessarily fast track them, so you have to baby them until like they basically grow into their roles. Like ever rarely, the only person I can say for a fact that has done this well and is coming at a young age doing that one and done shit is probably Jason Tatum. Because he went to a system like Boston where he was able to cultivate and grow his game over the years. Like every year he's added something to his game, even though now all the stuff he's doing is space up threes. But for the most part, he's a guy who's a 3-level scorer. He can shoot three. He can kick the mid-range jump shot. He can get to the line. He can definitely slash. He's a good two-way player when he wants to be. He has all those talents, into his skill. I do think over the last couple of years it's starting to change back because a lot of these players coming out are no longer one and done. You see guys coming out after their sophomore years, junior years, making impacts. A lot of them that were normally second-round picks, they're now late first-rounders. Those guys who are coveted, you go onto a team and you're already able to compete. Look at Derek Lively, he was a late first-rounder. In the lottery, look at, Jalen Johnson in Atlanta. You see what those guys are able to produce, when given time and some seasoning. But if you look at other guys that are coming out, as much as I love LaMelo Ball, you ain't going to tell him shit because
you throw him in the fire and just be like, hey, good luck.
Good luck. It's like you can't tell him nothing because he already had that fanfare from high school. You can't tell him, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Because the moment you tell him, okay, I'm trying to help you become greater, you're automatically the problem. You're gonna be shut down. He's
But
already
I think I get where you're going with the Lamella Ball comparison. I think his situation was a whole lot.
oh, it's all a lot different. It's a lot
A
different,
whole lot different. Like
but
I
he's an
think if
example.
you give an example, like I think let's say if you were a coach trying to tell John Morant, like, yo, you need to play this way, right? The John's gonna look at you like, yeah, get him out of here. Like,
Thankfully, he hasn't done that because Taylor Jenkins has been a good coach for him.
yeah, but every player has their coach, right? Like we mentioned Larry Brown. As much as they butt heads, AI, Larry Brown, yeah, they needed to be together, right? Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Shaq needed Phil Jackson, right? The Patrick Ewing and Patrick Ewing needed Van Gundy. The the Heat, all of them,
Maybe Pat Riley.
they needed Pat Riley, right? The Spurs needed Pop, all of them. The Jazz needed Sloan until they didn't need him anymore, right?
That was Darren Wayne. So.
Yeah, like Darren Williams, terrible person. um, the Nuggets, right? No matter how bad George Karl was as a person, the Nuggets needed George Karl. Well, Carmelo at the time needed George Karl. So it's like
No.
George Karl, sorry. So like the coaching matters. I love Shaq. Shaq is one of my favorite players of all time. The coaching matters. Because your coach will put you in the right place to succeed. So regardless of how good you are, you can have a basket full of talented players, but if they don't know what to do, you have things like Team USA going in the third place that year where they got the bronze medal, right? Like like your coach will always put you in the right place to succeed. Again, if they're a good coach, because without a good coach, obviously, it's not going to happen. But I think real coaching, starts from before they get into the league, and I think that's where the problem is. Right?
Yeah.
If you told a player from 5, 6 years old, 7 years old, right? You know what? You're the guy. You can play like this. You can play however you want. That's basically how that person is going to play throughout elementary school, throughout junior high school, throughout high school, into college or AAU, all of this. So now that same player who thinks he's that guy comes to the league and realizes he's not that guy. Now it becomes more of a, oh damn, this coach is not letting me play to my full potential. No, the coach sees something different in you, see that you could do something better. Like Patrick Beverly is the best example. Just saw the clip. Patrick Beverly was averaging 37 points in Chicago before he got to the league. In Chicago, the highest scoring player in Chicago high school basketball. He gets to the league. Patrick Beverly is a defensive specialist, right? But that's why he was able to stay in the league as long as he had, right? Because he was able to change and adjust his game. But that also comes with you having the right mindset to understand, like, okay, everybody's doing this. I should learn how to do this. And it also comes with great coaching. I believe the NBA coaches have a shorter rope. They have a shorter leash than ever nowadays.
Oh no, for
Coaches
sure.
coaches get fired after 1 year. Coaches get fired in the middle of the season. Ain't no way Adrian Griffin should have been fired last year in the middle of the season when the Bucks were number 2 in the East, number 3 in the East. for Doc Rivers. for Doc Rivers, right? Mm-mm-mm. So, moving on from the coaching aspect,
Yeah,
into the individual aspect of the game, Kyrie Irving right now is probably hands down the best handles in the game. I think a lot
by
of people
far.
by far, like a lot of people would say he does. Now, but who's second? Who's second and who's third?
If you're talking all time or we're talking like currently, I don't think there's a second.
Currently.
I don't. You know, it's probably Steph.
Mhm.
It's definitely Steph. And I mean, Chris Paul's in the league because Chris Paul still got handled, so it's probably Chris too. He probably third. Outside of that, I mean, I could use Brunson too, but it's just like that's one thing. But it's just like outside of that, like yo, not a lot of people got bags like that no more. That's another thing that we're talking about. Like yo, this is what I'm talking about. Like people are not fundamentally sound. Like people talking about bags. I'm like yo, like his bag is 2 dribbles, pull up for a 3. 2 dribbles, angle, get off a screen, get open, shoot a 3 or cut to the basket. Like people don't got no bags like that no more, man. Like remember the day where like yo you used to like want to be like when you wanted to be a good basketball like handle the rock. Like you used to just dribble all the fucking time, try to figure out like yo like all right can I handle it like Marbury or can I basically like go left to right like Iverson like or Rod Strickland, Kyrie's godfather, like do special shit
Baron
like that.
Davis.
Baron
Baron
Davis,
Davis.
like dance with it.
Like and I don't. See, the thing is, what the kids do now, I don't mind you dancing with it, but dance with it and go someplace, right?
Yeah,
Like if you want to ha ha and then go, that's cool. But ha, same place and finish is over here like this.
yeah. Your defender's just like yo, I'm just waiting either to punch your shit or just 24-second shot clock.
Right. I'm just waiting for you to shoot the three. Like they're waiting for you to shoot the three. I put James Harden there too.
Ah, fuck it. Yeah, James too. Forgot.
I put James there too. Even still, I think James, because James is bigger and stronger, he's a lot more like it's a lot harder to guard James Harden when he's in his bag. Even though James Harden, he uses the newer rules to his advantage in terms of the gather step and all this other stuff. Which now the league looks stupid where everybody taking 4 or 5 steps backwards to shoot a jump shot.
Allow the new travel.
The new travel, that's not a travel now. But excuse us old heads for not remembering. Oh, 2 steps into the basket. Right. I get the gather after the dribble. I understand that. I've always understood that. Into the layup. I get it, right? That's not a trap. Right. But what people are doing now is unbelievable. But you said Curry. We said
Stuff.
you have Curry. We have Paul. I added James. I feel like we could possibly add Luca into that.
Yeah, Luca got a bag. Luca got a bag too.
You have the bag. Has a bit of a bag. It's not, again, it's not like Kyrie. Like it's not and one, but it does the job. It does the job, and that's what we're asking for.
You know who had an underrated bag? I don't think get enough credit. Tyreek Evans had a bag. Reek had a bag. Like it sucks how his career ended up, but like he had a crazy bag.
Lance Stevenson does too.
I mean, listen, born ready. Shout out to Brooklyn. Shout out to the Lincoln High School. Tony, he listen. He took down my high school in the state championship, man. I don't forget that. He was on ESPN. Thinking, all right, Cross about to win. Nah, he got blown the fuck out.
Get up out of there.
Like Lance in that '08 high school class, he went crazy. Like it was him, Kemba. They were part of the high school class. It was crazy. Like he had a crazy handle, fast, shifty, can move with it.
Kemba, yeah, absolutely.
Kemba's another one. Like yo, like my personally for me, my all time favorite, like outside of AI, is probably Jamal Crawford because he had that. He was Mr. Yo-Yo. He had that shit on the string.
Man, that if we're talking about like top, if we're talking about like a strong case for number one all time in handles, Jamal Crawford.
Jamal's like he's definitely in my top because everything that he did, he got anywhere he wanted with the ball. Like there was no place. Like this is a man who this is a man who's come out and confidently said like, yo, like I was able to beat Jordan in ones. Like, do you know how gifted you have to be to do that and walk out and say that without Jordan coming back and refusing? Like, nah, he didn't beat me. Like, he was really about that. Like Jamal was he was a hooper. It's when we're talking about like actual hoopers. Like people like talking about, oh no, these guys are hooping saying like you don't you weren't outside. Y'all just happy to see like 5 or 6 or 10 threes jacked up. Then guys like shooting a couple threes, find a way to get to the rack, getting a couple nice, mid-range jump shots here and there, coming off cuts, getting easy buckets. That's hooping. Not like, I'm just able to just get this shot off in this and the third. Like people get it fucked up. Just because Steph Curry is the best at doing it doesn't mean that's all Steph Curry's bag. That's where y'all got it fucked up. Like that's where y'all got it fucked up. Like Trae Young is another one, but his saving grace is the fact that he dishes the ball more. That's a saving grace, even though he's inefficient as fuck.
Yeah, he's inefficient as fuck because he wants to shoot from the parking lot
all the fucking time. And then LaMelo Ball's another one. Like, but you again, like, goes back to the original, the first icebreaker question, where it's just like, yo, like, you got so much game, but it's just like you're not using it because it's like all you want to do is AAU high school shit and get paid money for it. Like, it's not going anywhere. Like, you got all this fucking talent, and it's just like, yo, you're not using it to play actual NBA basketball. Because at some point, you don't want the NBA to look AAU-ish. You want the NBA to be an actual grown-up professional league.
But that's the problem. That is a problem. Kids are going from AAU into the NBA, and it's no drop-off between, like, even if they go to college, some of these college coaches are just allowing them to play the same way just because it's winning them games. It's getting people. It's either winning them games. They don't teach because people like Bobby Knight is the most extreme example, right? You don't want any Bobby Knights, right? You really want any Bobby Knights. So let's say Coach K, but on the subject of Bobby Knight, his players left him knowing how to play the game. Traumatized, but they left knowing how to play the game of basketball. Coach K, those players left knowing how to play the game of basketball.
You look at Dean Smith, you look at Pat Summitt, God rest his dead. You look at Roy Williams, you look at Jim Calhoun, you look at the Syracuse coach Jim Boeheim. You look at those kind of coaches. You look at Clarence Gaines, who was also coaching. You look at other people like who was coaching. Like I forgot the coach of St. Joseph's at that point in time. I forgot who. John Chaney. Like you look at coaches. I'm naming crazy names right now, but you look at these people. They're not just coaches. They're teachers. Like I don't think even on the AAU level, because mostly on the AAU level nowadays, the coaches are your parents. Like they don't know anything about like running actual plays. They just say, "Yo, just go out there and just do whatever." Like,
bro, they don't run laps, bro. Like
they don't even do that. They don't even do that no more. They don't do a 3-man weave.
These kids don't do 3-man weave. These kids don't do suicide.
They don't do shit.
They don't do 17s, bro. I hate 17s.
It's just
hurt even thinking about it. But
it's just all right, cool. Go to the 3-point line, shoot a couple threes. All right, do king of the court, but niggas don't even got no bag. Like or the three dribble score drill. They don't know how to do
I
that.
hate
It's like
that. I hate the 3 dribble score drill now because everybody be traveling. But yes,
because they be taking them to the extra steps. So it's like the fundamental aspect of the game is gone, which is why like people when you see Luca come in and fucking kill, you see Wemby come in and kill, you see Joker who has this game on autopilot. Like
these international players are taught the game the right way, and they're basically playing in slow motion, right? The game is so fast paced that these players don't know how to guard to play slow. That's why you had players like a player like a Joe Johnson that was very successful in the league. Not successful
he had
as
a
he should
bag.
have been, but Joe Johnson. If we talking about bags, all time bags,
He
Joe
had a
Johnson
bag.
is Joe Johnson may be in the top 5.
He had a bag
It's
because
not number 5.
and he never had a high dribble. He kept the dribble low. And the way he would rise up, the only time he rises up is if you know he's about to score.
Yep.
Like he had a crazy, crazy handle. Like Steve Nash, Melo's jab series, bar like there's out of any player that I've studied in terms of like movements and bags offensively, I studied Carmelo's probably the most because the way he got it was so economical because the way he operated from the mid range, it was crazy. Because like, the jab series to get like he didn't waste dribbles. Like he didn't waste any dribbles, any movements. Like, all right, I'm gonna give you a jab. You're not gonna bet on that. I'm gonna give you another jab. Give it pivot in a different direction, and then get to my 2 dribbles, get to my spot, rise up, and then score. Or 2 dribbles, fake, get to a leg. Oh, I'm catching the ball, in rhythm. I'm gonna get you for that 3. Oh, I caught it on the block. Give you the ball. Feel the defense. Try to post up. I get hit. I'm an 80 plus percent free throw shooter, so I'm gonna knock them down. So it's like things like that. Like
Paul Pierce.
As much as I hate the Celtics, Paul had a bag. Paul Pierce
had that man had a Birkin at some point, bro. For sure.
Paul Pierce had a bag. Steven Jackson, like look, Cap Jack had a bag.
He had a little bag. It wasn't like the people he had a bag for golf. He had a bag on the Bobcats for sure. He had a bag on the Bobcats for sure because they needed it.
Yeah, they needed it. That's what I'm saying. Like he had a bag. Like who else? Like there was another person had a bag. Antoine Walker had a bag too.
Twan had a bag. Oh man,
Twan had a bag. He had them handles of tween. Either like he had the half spin. He had the half spin to get to the cup, or the half spin to basically shoot that midi. He was one of the first guys that I know that could. Ginobili was crazy because he brought the Euro step back. Because he brought back the Euro step into the NBA that everybody adopted. Like, oh, Ginobili was the inventor. Like, nah, someone that he knew years prior did it when he was playing with the Warriors, like 10 years prior to him. He just basically came in and just violated everybody with it because no one could stop it. Like Ginobili had a bag, Tony Parker had a bag. He's another one that kept the ball low and didn't he didn't overdo it. Like he's another person that didn't overdo it and had a crazy bag.
I hate Tony Parker, but he did have a bag.
But Tony Parker had a bag. Like early Chris Paul when he's with the Hornets, like
Chris Paul all the way up into the midpoint.
Suns,
midpoint of Lob City. He had a bag. Yeah,
another underrated person who had a bag. Freaking Andre Miller had a bag.
Oh my God! For somebody who cannot shoot worth a lick,
he had a bag.
Man,
he had a bag.
Yeah, bag. He was one of those people.
He had a bag.
Turn his back right to you, and post up all the small guards and just go about their business.
And he dropped you off too. Like he be the type of person to drop you off too. Like, all right, cool. Like he had a crazy bag. Jamal Tinsley back in the day with the Pacers.
I like Jamal Tinsley. Oh, I like Jamal Tinsley. Ooh, Al Harrington had a bag too.
Al Harrington had a bag. Like, Jamal Tinsley, when he was with the Pacers during them years, like them early years when Isaiah was coaching, I was like, damn, he had a bag.
All right, so let's do this real quick, right?
I bet.
Run the break, right? let's go top 5 bags, right? Who had bags in the league. Doesn't matter from we're gonna do
Any
we're gonna
era?
do it with we're gonna do it with we're gonna start with bigs, right?
Okay.
We're gonna start with bigs. Reason why I'm starting with bigs, you don't want to clump everything together because it's a lot harder to come up with a top 5 because if we do top 5, we gotta add Elijah one. Elijah one dream shape. We just put it
I
all
mean,
together.
that's automatic. That's automatic 5 for
Right.
King.
That's
He had a
automatic.
bag.
That's automatic, right?
That's
But
automatic.
but then if some people be like, oh no. So we're gonna start
Nah,
with
he
the
had a
big,
bag.
right? Top 5 big men with bags, right? So I'm throw a name out, right? Number 5, I'm going to say number 5, Patrick Ewing.
Ewing had people forget Ewing actually had a bag. like
Yeah.
Ewing had to play slow because that was a coaching style, but Ewing had a bag. People forget that. People was shocked that he could actually shoot. Like
Right. But don't be too shocked. But
Ewing had a bag.
don't be too shocked. So we agree with Patrick Ewing at number 5.
Pat had a bag. Okay, Pat. I got one at 4. And like his first half, like the first 7 years of his career, he falls in that Amari Blake Griffin archetype. He was probably the mold, actually. Don Kemp, the Rain Man.
You must have heard our episode of the Year Sports Show talking about how Sean Kemp is supposed to be in the Hall of Fame. But
no, that ass he's supposed to be. Based off that, he was supposed to be. He was the archetype. He gave birth to the Antonio McDyces of the world, Amari who came after, and Blake Griffin. But like, yo, I could put Blake, but Blake had a bag too. But the reason why I put Sean because what he did at that time, how athletic he was, how strong he was, how fast he was. People forget like when he used to handle the ball, even when he became Sherman Clump. You know, with the Jailblazers, like especially that 2000s team, like he was passing, shooting from the outside. Like he had a bag. It wasn't just dunks with him. Like he had a floater, he had a mid-range game, he had a jump hook. He could pass he could pass outside of double teams. He could set people up. Like he had other things offensively that made him like they gave him a bag. Like it wasn't just athleticism that he had to rely on. Like he had other things that he can go to. Like, all right, if I can't go today, we're using my athleticism to the basket. I'm just gonna use my jump hook. If they get off my jump hook, I'm gonna shoot the 15-footer because they don't want to come out.
Nope.
So it's like, yo, if they double me, I can kick it out to whoever. Like, oh, I got GP on one end. Bet I'm gonna just do this in the third. Like he had a bag. Like that's my 4.
You know what? For this next one, I think I might have to put Patrick Ewing as an honorable mention. Put the Rain Man at 5. Right?
Okay.
My number 4 would be Chris Webber.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
My number 4 would be Chris Webber. We know what the number 1 is going to be.
Should have won a ring.
Yeah, he should have won the ring. He used to annoy the hell out of me in 2K just hearing his voice. But in terms of him playing, man, that we talking about a 4 with a bag. Oh my gosh! And everybody listening, yes, we are learned that there may be people who are left off this list that you may be like, oh, why did not? It's purely us.
Yes, us. This is our list. You ain't been like our list. Hey,
yeah,
give us a better one.
Right,
give us a better one.
Right, and this is just the bigs. So, but I see Webb, the way he was carrying the damn Kings teams, the way he was playing on the Bullets and early Run TMC won, but they were hurt when he got drafted there. Right?
It was just TNC by the time he got there.
Yeah, it was just TNC. Yes,
yeah,
it was just TNC. So Like C Webb, just he can give it to you from every angle. Pull us from Matt, from
Yeah,
Matt, from
Paul,
Matt
Paul on the
control,
left. Yeah, Paul on the
right
left.
and left from Matt. But he was one of the big players that can be a point forward.
Yeah,
Good vision, great vision, great athleticism, good speed. Um, he can see the floor. He was an okay defender, but if we're talking about having a bag on offense, he can get past anybody. He was stronger than most players at his position, outside of the time like a Karl Malone or something like that.
The way his passing used to be was just
Mhm.
he'd be perfect for this era.
Absolutely.
Like, do you see what Joker be doing? Like Shingun be doing? Like he would fit in like a glove in this era. If he was with what Sabonis is doing on Sacramento is basically what Chris Webber's been doing most of his career.
Right.
It's like he'd kill. Like that's ooh, C Web.
Yeah, C Webb is
He had a
definitely like
bag. Definitely had
six
a bag.
6'10" with everything.
Had everything. He's your
So
four. Ooh. Since we're talking bigs, shit.
mhm.
My three he's the DMX of bigs in KG.
So KG, that bro, that's my dog. That was my three anyway. That was gonna be my
Yeah,
three anyway.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
KG's my three. Like, come on,
Mhm.
like especially Minnesota KG. Like what he was
Yeah.
doing. I saw some highlights recently. I'm like, yo, like honestly, if he was in today's game, he'd probably be the best player in the game. Because there's nothing he couldn't do. He could
Nothing.
shoot. He could shoot the three. He's basically everything that you wanted Anthony Davis to ever be.
Yep. He is a mix of what you want to see in Anthony Davis and what you see in Giannis. Right?
Yeah,
Like in terms of going up and down the floor, KG and Giannis, I think, are very similar. They have a lot of parallels about how they move on the floor. Defensively, KG, Giannis, and AD are very much alike in how they play the game on defense.
yeah.
Um, Offensively, AD and KG are basically the
They mirror
one
each
A
other.
and B. They mirror each other, right?
Yeah,
And
but
it's
KG had a
hard to
different
put.
bag though.
He did. He definitely did. Oh my god. Ooh, he definitely did. And it's hard. See, now the problem is now, right, with number two, it's hard to put Anthony Davis particularly on this list right now, versus who I'm going to put at number two. Now, again, Anthony Davis has should have a spot on this list, right?
She,
And
he should.
he could be number five. You can move the Rain Man and put AD there, right? That number five spot is very versatile, right? But for number two, you gotta put Dirk. You gotta put
Yeah,
Dirk.
Dirk,
You gotta put Dirk.
Dirk embarrassed damn near everybody. Like Dirk, Dirk's bag was ridiculous. Like if Larry Bird was ever 7 foot and had the capabilities of doing what Dirk did, I guarantee you he probably beat Magic more times in the 80s.
He'd kick Magic ass every time he played him.
like cause yo, like Dirk was just his bag was crazy. Like you couldn't guard his post up. You couldn't guard him from the perimeter. You'd have to pray for a fact that like you could just if you could like attack him on defense if you're the offensive player, that's the only way you can basically get Dirk off his game is attack him
Right.
defensively. But other than that, like if you guard him, there's not much you could do. Like the guy could
Yeah.
shoot from the three, post you up, shoot from 15, 20, shoot 90%. Like his footwork was impeccable.
Yeah.
There's nothing he couldn't do. Like that 2011 run alone, like I remember Jeff Van Gundy said, like, yo, because Serge Ibaka was guarding him the entire that Western Conference Final series. Jeff Van Gundy was like, "Yo, like if I'm Serge Ibaka and I have a child, I'm gonna name it, and it's a boy. I'm gonna name I should name him Dirk because of the way Dirk was just frying him. Because like
Yeah,
you fried Kobe, you fried KD, and you fried the big three in Miami all in 1 year off your footwork and just endless back. Obviously, he had a squad to do it, but the way Dirk took control of that playoffs and played out of his fucking mind, it was like, all right, this is the last major year I can show my entire bag before my knees go out.
right. That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. And number one, clearly Hakeem Olajuwon.
It's a key. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, we've seen it, right? We've seen it. I don't think we have to discuss any further how much Hakeem kind of dogged everybody out. He literally went a playoffs and went after David Robinson because David Robinson won the MVP.
He embarrassed that nigga.
Yeah, I ain't never seen, bro. If I'm about to pop out and show niggas with a person, that was Hakeem Olajuwon for sure.
Like the last time I seen the center like really go out and try to embarrass another center is when like Embiid dropped like 47 and 17 on Joker like 2 years ago. Like it's the last time I seen like big men actually like this is real hooping here. This is what we're talking about. Like that's the last time I seen it. But bro, like Hakeem used to embarrass David Robinson. Like that was
Now,
bad.
speaking of Embiid has a bag, right?
Yeah.
Embiid has a bag. Embiid had. Don't get me wrong. Embiid has a bag. I think Joker, in his own way, he has a bag.
Joker has a bag too.
Joker has a bag too. Now, if we had to remove that 5 spot, and we'll finalize the list, right? We have to take out if we had to take out that 5 spot to put because as much as I like Rain Man in that spot too.
He's in the top 10 though.
I think if we did a 10 list, yeah, for sure. Sean Kemp is in there. Sean Kemp might even be number 10 based off the names that we've had. So I think if we had to replace that number 5 list between Joker and Embiid and AD, who would we put at number 5?
Joker.
I agree, Joker.
Cause Joker, and like again, if it was a top 10 list, the person that created Joker should, or two people that should be on that list as well. If it was a top 10, Arvydas Sabonis and Vlade Divac.
Yeah.
Because you put them two together, you get Joker.
Yep, I agree. So to give our top 5 bags of center with the players
or
who have the bag as a center, bigs.
Yeah,
that have a bag. So we're gonna say 1 Hakeem.
Yeah, Hakeem, undoubtedly, that's a king.
2 Dirk.
Yeah.
3 KG.
Most definitely.
4 C Web.
Yes.
5, we're gonna say Joker.
Yes.
And we have a bunch of other honorable mentions. We did not forget Timmy, right?
I ain't gonna front, I forgot Timmy.
Yeah, I didn't forget Timmy.
And I got love for Tim too. Like I definitely got Tim.
Duncan. Matt hates the Spurs, but I love Tim Duncan. So I think what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna come out with a run to break top 10 bigs, guards, and wings bags, and we're gonna put it out on Instagram and Facebook and everything like that. We're gonna come up with the list ourselves. Y'all gonna agree, y'all gonna disagree. It don't matter. This will be our list. Y'all can fight over it with your mama if y'all want to.
That's fine. It's just if you think our list is whatever, just give us a better list. See, that's what we're here
It's a
for.
better list, right?
That's what we're here
And
for.
we are more than happy to let you give us a better list. And we are not one of those people like, oh no.
Yeah, most
We have
definitely.
acknowledged that we are missing. This is one. This is just off the top of the head. And two, like if we really had time to think about it, I think some of this, we have some things kind of moved around a bit. But
Yeah, for sure.
for sure. So, so one of the things that that we see every year is the All Star game, right?
Mhm.
Um, but post All Star, we have the All Star game and All Star game MVP, right? But then after that, we have the league MVP. Now, with Joker about to win it for another time, I believe this would be his third time or fourth time.
You Tyler Brown.
Fourth time, he will tie LeBron James with 4 MVPs. Um, and that puts him in the upper echelon of players with more than 3 MVPs. Not many that have more than 3 MVPs. With that being said, how do you view the MVP award now? Because at one point we had 3 different MVPs back to back. We had the OKC 3 win the MVPs back to back to back.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We had Derrick Rose win the MVP, one of the youngest MVP winners ever. LeBron got it back to back twice, and
He got snubbed for a couple more.
right, he got snubbed for a couple more. Michael Jordan also got snubbed for 2. So,
Jordan got stuff for 2.
so with that being said, and now Embiid got the MVP after killing himself to play the whole season one time.
Yeah, he had to tear his knee for that one.
Right, right, and it didn't mean nothing. But with that being said, how
Yeah.
important is the MVP award nowadays? Is it life or death to win like it used to be, or is it now just like just another award?
Because of how they've basically marketed Joker to win the MVP the last couple years, well, during his last 2 MVPs, I think it's more so it's just become like a regular award. I don't think the meaning necessarily means anything. I think the year that he won, if Embiid was healthy last year, he probably would have had that one, and then Joker would have had the one the year that he won the championship. Because I think the year that he won the championship, Embiid won that one. So I think if they switched those 2, I would have been all right. One of his original MVPs I didn't necessarily agree with because I think Giannis was having a great, secondary season coming off the MVP. I think, when you go off numbers, it's like, all right, you already did that with Russell Westbrook.
Right.
Like, because I get it with the numbers, the triple doubles. If you're going to continue to do that, it devalues like what that award means. Because the MVP has never been about a stat based award. If it really was, Kareem would have won more than the 6 that he had. Jordan would have more than 5, and LeBron for damn sure would have more than 4. Hell, Kobe would have won it in 06 if that was the case.
Right.
But because of, unfortunately, the MVP that Westbrook won in 2017 for the triple doubles and the narrative that carried in that season, it changed from just, okay, the MVP is going to the most important player on the team, on the best team in the league, to, oh, you have these great numbers, having a great season. We're just gonna give it to you because of that. I think the narratives have changed in terms of what the MVP means. It's unfortunate because it's like you want the integrity of the game to showcase the greatness of what this league is supposed to promote in terms of basketball. Like, sure, Joker is one of the top players in the league, but if SGA had the year he had last year and carried the Oklahoma City Thunder to a first seed, devoid of injuries most of the part of the last year, and continued that pace, he should have gotten that MVP. I felt like last year he should have won the MVP last year. I do think, again, going into this year, he's definitely in line. He's made a case. I mean, for him to do what he did this past week against the likes of, not just the Celtics, but the Cavaliers as well at home. Go to MSG, drop 40. Go to these important venues, especially on national TV, and take out these teams doing it the way he's been doing, and they're number one in the West. And the season that they're having, like he should be the clear cut favorite. And the fact that they're pushing Joker, I don't think they're necessarily serious about promoting other talent. Like I get it. Like Joker's number wise is having a great year, but it's like, is the impact the same? Where it's like the league is like, oh my God, like Joker's does that in the third. Like I'm pretty sure Joker's coasting and having these numbers, dropping every night. And they are winning, to their credit, but it's not at the level what OKC has been doing with a Shea, who's been without his second best player in Chet Holmgren much of the season, and still 30 something and 6. Like, come on now. Like
he's leading the band of side pieces to victory. Like, and it's no disrespect to those players. I mean, to be
them side pieces, they know how to get their jobs done.
Yeah, them side pieces getting their job done. Like the others are playing the way they're supposed to play. The Alex Caruso and the Hartenstein pieces were huge to get for them.
Shout out to J Dub too.
Yeah, I was about to get to them. J Dub and Lou Dort doing their job. Everybody is doing their job there, and they are doing their job so SGA can do his job. And that team is a good team, but that team is nowhere near the level that they're at without GA. That's what we're forgetting about the MVP award. It's the most valuable player, right? And again, of course, we're going to be called bronze sexuals. If we're talking about the most valuable player on the team, there were years when LeBron should have won the MVP, but due to voter fatigue, he didn't get it. The same thing with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan suffered from voter fatigue. That's how you got Charles Barkley winning the MVP one season when, Jordan's numbers weren't as up to par as Barkley. Let's be real, but also
Karl Malone won in 97.
Karl Malone won in 97. And
nasty
as well.
work. Nasty work.
Super nasty work. But the most valuable player to a team at that time was Jordan.
Yeah.
Right? And we saw it the 2 years Michael Jordan wasn't there on the Bulls. Yes, the Bulls still got to the playoffs, right? They didn't get to the finals without Michael Jordan. They didn't get to the finals without Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan proved how valuable he was in the years that he was there. So Joker getting the numbers that he's getting, these are beautiful numbers to get as a center, right? And you don't want to downplay the numbers, these numbers, right? But they are making not Russell Westbrook to his own fault, right? I don't want to blame this on Russell Westbrook. I'm going to say give this to the media side of things. The media has turned the triple-double into something that's a regular occurrence when you have to work to get the triple-double. You have to work. There's not enough stat padding in the world that you can do to make sure your players get you score the ball 10 times and you pass it to them. You have to get 10 assists. You have to get 10 points. These are still other NBA players that you're playing.
Yeah. I mean, when the league, when you see that the league is more like the pace has increased where stats are going to be inflated and then triple doubles are going to be more of a norm. It doesn't basically have the same appeal as where, again, when Westbrook was winning the MVP with his triple doubles.
Yep.
Like the pace of the game, there's more possessions per, there's more points per possession because of the pace. So you're going to get those triple doubles naturally because of what you see on the basketball floor, and I think that is it impressive? Sure, but you gotta understand, like you're bound to get those numbers because of the way the pace is nowadays.
Absolutely.
And because of the way the pace is nowadays, you're gonna see more triple doubles out of the norm. You're gonna see, like last year, there was more 50-point games from players than any time in history. Like getting a 50 ball used to be very, very difficult.
Yeah. Now it's just 50.
Say, oh, you got a 50. Oh, Luka got 70. Oh, and B got 71. You know, this and the third, like getting, and it's like because of the way the league is nowadays, you're bound to get them. Like I don't think it is necessarily special, and I'm not taking anything away from Joker because Joker's done a great job in Denver, and he's a former,
definitely has.
he's a 3-time MVP, he's an NBA champion, he's done it all thus far in his career. Like he could retire and he'll be fine, but the thing about Joker is with this voting is people who do it from the analytics standpoint, like, oh my god, the stats, the stats, the stats. They're focused. This is where like I usually have issue with how they critique the game because the game is deeper than just the numbers. You have this. The eye test still matters as well. The eye test and what you see from that eye test and how it's impacting game matters a lot. Which is why, like, I'm on the line of seeing SGA winning the MVP this season. He like if I were a writer who had a vote, I would vote SGA for the purpose of the fact that he has basically done a lot this year to basically keep up from where they were last year. Because the year before last year, they were they were basically a play-in team. You go from a play-in team to semifinals, and then now you're basically coming back the following season saying, all right, we were first last year based off a tie. No, now no one can catch us this year. We have got off to a good start. And not only am I still averaging a cool being 30, everybody else still supporting around me, even if I don't have my second best player on the team in Chet Holmgren. Like I got J-Dub averaging 20. I got Isaiah Joe coming off the bench giving you minutes. You got Lou Dort, who has an improved shot. Shout out to my Zoe. Like you got him playing well. You got Hartenstein giving you double doubles. Like you have, your supporting cast, and you're still the most valuable player. You're off that floor. You see what the stats are with you off that floor, and that's where the eye test comes in. With Joker, you still got a Russell Westbrook who can help supplant on the floor and keep the team going when you're off the floor with the stats that will show you that. And not only that, the Thunder are clear and cut the best team in the NBA. Sure, the MVP has always been about narrative, but you can't compound narrative with just stats. You can compound the narrative in terms of what you can physically have seen and not just rely solely on the numbers. Because if you just solely rely on the numbers and just wait till April to vote, it's a terrible miscarriage of, your duty as a journalist watching and critiquing the game. So when we're talking about the MVP and feeling that the importance of the MVP has been lost, and that's on a lot of reasons. That's on the fans from a different perspective. That's also on the league from a different perspective. That's also on, like it's also on like how the perception of that award has become because because every time you're turning on TV when we're talking about NBA, we're not even talking about the game. The first thing they go to is stats. If I wanted to know about stats from the NBA, like I wouldn't need to watch an NBA game ever again if that was the case.
Right, but then that's where most of these people say like, "Oh, who's the greatest of all time?" This and the third. Yeah, stats are one thing, right? Eye test is another, and it's just in general. Like again, we weren't there to watch Kareem, right? But in this case, stats will show his impact, right? Kareem should be touted as the greatest player of all time. He is not, for whatever reason, because everybody saw how flashy Michael Jordan was. Michael Jordan would have been touted as the greatest player of all time.
You gotta sell it, baby.
Right, you gotta sell it. But stats show the person who led the NBA forever as the all-time scorer after beating out Wilt Chamberlain. Michael Jordan didn't get that feat. Michael Jordan didn't win 3 or 4 college championships, right? Kareem won a billion MVPs. He won his NBA titles. Again, still not touted as the best player ever, but that's where stats come in, right? stats say Michael Jordan is. All right, cool. But then now we do stats and move on to the stats. Then some stats say, oh, Kobe might be the best player. I watched Kobe play. I watched Michael Jordan play. Maybe, right?
Maybe,
I
but
watched
there's a reason why Jordan is Jordan and Kobe is Kobe.
Right. Then we get to the LeBron era, right? Watch LeBron play. Based off solely the eye test, I would be like, oh shit, LeBron could be one of, if not one of the best players, the greatest players of all time. That say Michael Jordan is. Right? But then LeBron James is the player that just is the only player in NBA history to ever have 40,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists. Will never happen again, right? But those stats don't count because now they pick and choose which stats matter. Oh well, LeBron James has four rings and lost in the finals a bunch of times, but Jordan is 6 in the finals. So Jordan the GOAT. So we pick and choose when we want to use stats.
I can't wait. I can't wait till we do a GOAT episode because I have a lot of takes on that. Because that would be a dope conversation. Like in terms of talking about GOATs and the narratives behind it, that would be a good one.
Oh yeah, I definitely can't wait to do that. We can actually do that the next episode for real.
Yeah, because it's like because I got some things to say about the GOAT conversation, and it's not because of like personal favorites or whatever. I think it's because I think for me personally, I'm just going to preface by saying this. I think it's more so when we're talking about the GOAT conversation. Sure, you can go by GOAT to eras. That's easy.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about that definitive player that like undoubtedly has done enough body of work in the game of basketball, that still translates years after that. It's crazy to say, at least right now, the only two names that will have that distinction over that course of time is Michael and LeBron.
I agree. And no matter what Kareem has done, and Kareem has a legit case.
Oh, Kareem's top 5.
He should be number 1. He has a legit case to be number 1. When you are a player who has led the NBA all time in scoring without shooting a 3-pointer,
it's a flex.
It's a flex. To be the winningest player, one of the winningest players in college basketball history.
Ever.
Like to do that, to be one of the all-time scorers in college, to be in that. Like
I don't think any player that's played in the NBA that played in college can say that they went to school, won 3 out of 4 national titles, came to the NBA, won 6 NBA championships, won 6 MVPs, won a couple of Finals MVPs,
and been an all-star almost every time.
Damn near every year of his career. He had 19 every year of his career except for 19 All-Star games in 20 years. It's crazy. You held a record for 37 years. Like until LeBron broke it. Like it is like for him not to be top 5 or mentioned the GOAT conversation is messed up. But it's like his name should definitely be in that conversation.
I think if you're going to put him anywhere, you put him. If you're not going to put him number 1 or 2, gotta put him number 3. And he shouldn't go any lower than 3.
He's either way. He's on that Rushmore. You ain't taking nobody else off.
Yeah. You're not. You can't take Kareem off, and that's how that's when you find out who really knows ball.
Like
that's when you figure it out.
If someone takes Kareem off for like KD or Steph, like
I don't want to. I'm not having a conversation.
Like we can't have a conversation.
We won't have a conversation. As a matter of fact, I feel disrespected of that person in my presence, and we just don't love to have a conversation. We'll definitely save that. Yeah. Now also the last topic, the All-Star game format has changed, but if you had to do 5 players who were your All-Star starters, Um, 5 player. Let's go with the classic East and West format. 5 from the East, 5 from the West. I'm starting with the East. Who would be your 5 starters in the East?
Brunson, Mitchell, Cat, Tatum, Giannis, and was that it? Brunson, Tatum,
Brunson, Tatum, Mitchell,
Mitchell,
Cat,
Giannis.
Giannis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 5. And then in the West,
Yeah.
Shea. I mean, he's a fan vote, so I got Shea, Bron, KD, Joker. I think Curry. I put Chef in there too because it's a fan vote. Because they rock with Curry.
Okay.
He getting that start because I know Shea definitely getting that start.
Yeah,
Joker's
Shea has
definitely
to.
Shea
Shea don't get the
is
start.
definitely getting Shea definitely getting that start. Joker definitely getting that start. Bron is a lock.
Mhm.
KD's a lock.
Mhm.
So those are my 5.
I'm going to start with the West. I'm going to say Shea, Curry, Ron, AD, Joker.
Oh, you have
I'll put
AD.
AD. Yep.
Ooh,
Anthony Davis has had a renaissance season.
he has.
We can't deny it.
Just wish the Lakers won more.
Just yes, if the Lakers won more, it would be like, hey, yeah, you could justify it.
Bro, I'd be
Or
fucking pussy, make the trades.
right, my set. But in all honesty, if I had to take anybody out, it could be Curry for Ant-Man.
Ooh. I'd wait a year for Ant-Man.
Yeah, I just can't do it just because of the record right now.
Yeah, that's the only reason why. That's the only reason why I'm like I would.
If the roles were reversed, Ant would be starting.
If the Wolves got off to a better start
Mm-hmm.
this season, if they had their same team from last year this season, I think Ant would have been number 2 easily. Because I know next year is going to be tougher because it's like, damn, if Ja has a great, fumbled. Oh shit. Oh no,
Who fumbled? Who fumbled?
Baltimore. He got stripped at the 30. Oh,
Here we go again.
3 turn. Oh god damn it. But yeah, next year's gonna be even tougher because it's like, yo, bro, like Ja's come back as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you gotta think about like how he coming with it, in the West and how his popularity was before he became John Wick. Like his popularity is gonna be up there too. So it's like outside of Curry aside, I think the West is in good hands in terms of the competition in the backcourt.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
For whatever reason, like Ant has like another year because like as long as Curry's still playing, Curry still got that popularity amongst the West. So he gonna get that start.
Yeah. For me, for the East, I will say Brunson. I will say Mitchell. I will say Tatum. We'll say Cat. Um,
Ooh, you're not putting Giannis. Uh-oh.
I gotta put Giannis. I have to match you with that. But in Bizarro World, I would remove. I'd remove Donovan Mitchell with Cade Cunningham. If Donovan Mitchell
I would do
had,
that too. I would do that
if
too.
Donovan, if they were not in first place, if these guys were not
If they weren't
in
first, I
first
would put
place
Cade.
and be the dogs of the entire league, I'd either put Cade Cunningham,
I'll
I'd
put
even
Cade.
put Cade Cunningham, I'd even put Jalen Brown there, right?
Yeah, because I ain't putting Trey's bitch ass on this
Yeah,
shit.
Trey can sit, right? Trey can sit. I'd even put if the Knicks weren't if the if the Knicks weren't in the position they were in, I put Tyrese Maxey instead of Jalen Brunson.
I ain't gonna hold you. You know who I put over
Who?
Maxey? I put Tyler Hero because the year he's having.
Tyler Hero got to come off the bench.
But I ain't gonna front for him averaging 20. He's averaging what 25 this year. The only reason why I say that is because like he's having a crazy year, and I love what he's doing right now. It took him a while though.
It took him a while, but also here's the thing about Miami Heat, right? Miami Heat, they do this. They focus their life around certain players, right? They'll draft really good, right?
Yeah.
But also they want to develop the player before they put their team around. And that's exactly what they did with Tyler Hero. Yeah, you're good, but we're going to develop you into the thing that we want you to be before the team turns into being yours. Right? Bam developed quickly, so Bam became one B to Jimmy. Right? But now, when Jimmy is up out of there, whenever he is traded or whenever he leaves, the thing is going to be Tyler Hero is now going to be 1B to Bam is 1A, right? Or vice versa, right? They're going to be 1A and B, and that's because they developed Tyler Hero. But I do agree, Tyler Hero has a legit chance to be an All-Star this year. And if he doesn't make it, it's just a lot of hating shit going on.
Usually, Gabe Cunningham is one.
Tyler Hero. Gabe Cunningham, Tyler Hero, and Tyrese Maxey should be All-Stars this year, as well as Jaylen Brown. Devin Booker and the KD on the West should for sure be it. Russell Westbrook has a case to be in the All-Star game this year.
I ain't gonna. I put Russ as a reserve. Like I'd vote in Russ as a reserve because of like, and it would be such a great honor for him to do that because it's like another person who should be a reserve is also James Harden before he's done with the Clippers.
James Harden and Norman Powell, who they need to be All-Stars.
They need to be All-Stars because like the Clippers, they've been hooping. They've been hooping. So it's like I already know I'm gonna get two. I'm gonna get two Lakers regardless. But it's like I'm also looking at does Ja get in as well? But in terms of start, because I know we're talking starters.
Yeah.
But in terms of the reserves, like it's gonna be tough because it's like where you put Ja, where you put Ant, like it's gonna be rough. Because like, and same with the East too. Because it's like at least for the East a little bit easier, but the West is gonna be tough. The West is gonna be tough.
East, I totally forgot. You still got Dame. Would you still vote Paolo in, even though he's coming off injury? Would you?
Paolo won't get in because he hadn't played enough games.
So then you vote Allen and Mobley possibly, right? Because you still have to vote your front court in.
I'd put in Mobley.
Right.
If the Wagner boy didn't get hurt, like he'd be another one.
If Wagner didn't get hurt, oh my gosh, right?
He would have been an All-Star.
Levine still can be an All-Star. He has about 30-point games in the season.
He needs to be a Laker so bad.
He needs to be a Laker now, expeditiously. LaMelo Ball should be an All-Star.
Not starting though.
Not starting, but he should be an All-Star.
That voting was nasty work.
I'd give Lonzo Ball the All-Star just for sentimental shit, but he not saying he deserved to be, but just having two brothers be in the All-Star game like we had Mark and Powell.
Nah, I fucks with that because I know like doing the West Reserve is gonna be tough because I know you got to pick 7, and it's just like outside of that 7, like I know one lock is gonna be Book, and then I gotta think about everybody else who you think deserves it. Like, yeah, I want. And it's like somebody gonna get snubbed, and it's gonna be rough.
Bro, Norman Powell gets snubbed. He needs to stuff. He might need to shoot up the locker room. Like he might need to go to arena some shit.
I wouldn't blame if he crashed out that way either, because it's like, bro, like James Harden and Norman Powell, they've done a great job keeping the Clippers up afloat. But then again, I gotta think about J-Dub from OKC. Like he's been balling too. So it's like, yo, bro, like the West choosing the reserves is going to be a bitch. Like the East is going to East is a little easier.
This Hartenstein get in because of the front, just for the front court.
As a Knicks fan, I'd be tight.
Oh
I'd be
my
so
god!
salty.
You know what? I think
I'd be happy, but I'd be salty at the same time. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yo, I think you know what? I think our next episode needs to be just the list of the episode of the list because we have All Star. No, well, we can do the All Star one. We have 2 weeks because, ladies and gentlemen, the week of the 8th is his birthday, so we're gonna be off. But the week before that, we should definitely do. That's the week of the first, right? Yeah, the weekend of the first, we should definitely do our All Star pick. The way if we had to pick our 8, and we're gonna go through the whole All Star format for sure.
For sure.
We're gonna do that, and then we got to do an episode of the list, and for sure.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah, for sure, because we have tons of lists that we can do, for sure. But you guys will definitely get that list of big men with the bag coming out. That's gonna come out real shortly, and y'all gonna be mad or not. Frankly,
hey, listen, be mad, but at the same time, we just want some dialogue, man. If you feel like our 5 is bad, give us a better 5. That's all. That's what we're here for.
Right, and then we also got TikTok back, so we know we're gonna hear from TikTok for sure.
Because Donald Trump putting the biggest face turn in America is crazy,
right? He's more of a face in the world than Hulk Hogan at this point.
That's crazy. He getting more cheers than Hogan ever would. Just
craziness. But as we wrap this up, again, shout out to the Whole Your Sports Show Network.
Shout out to you guys.
Yes, shout outs to us, and shout outs to the Backstage Brawl every Sunday at 3:30. Saturdays for PLEs.
We had a good one today with Marks and Mikes, man. Check that out, guys. If you follow wrestling and stuff like that, check out the Brawl. We're on YouTube, Facebook, X. But check out our shit on YouTube at the Backstage Brawl. We dropped our episode with Marks and Mikes. We had a good time with those brothers, just talking about wrestling and streaming, and did a little bit of fancy booking. Had some good conversations. Got some great takes. I ain't gonna hold you. So we had a good time, man. Check it out.
Yep. On the same path of wrestling, shouts to Ruthless Lala, who made her return this weekend.
Yes.
Pro Wrestling Magic.
Shout to Auntie.
This does now mean that Prolific is at 100%, which means the takeover is beginning. The drip set is back. We're in full effect. We are wrestling tag team champions. Just want to let people know that ain't stopping. That's forever, inaugural and forever. But and what else? Oh, we'll shout this out again. But Brother Greatness, his wrestling show is coming up.
Yes.
Shortly on the 1st out in Long Island. All Black Everything. Make sure you get into that.
Shout out to Mr. Black because he got a show on Friday.
Yep. Shout out to Mr. Black. Shout out to one of the best zebras out there, Mr. Black. Love to see your meteoric rise. Be one of them ones.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the bro. Shout out to everybody who listens and watches and engages with us. We monitor, we see it all, and you can expect. We're just starting 3 episodes in, but we have so much things that we want to do that we will get out to you. The content won't stop, even when the season is over. The season won't be over. Obviously, we'll take some time off, but the season. But even though season will be over at some point in time, the content never stops. You will get consistent content as much as we can, and listen, we're excited. We're doing this. We're doing this. We sounded real mellow this episode because we tired, and this man pulled a double shot. and I
yeah, you had to pull double shipping, and plus it's snowing too, so snowing kind of put me in a nice little calm. So yeah,
right. But again, we will definitely see y'all next week. Again, shout out to the whole network. Follow us on all socials at Run the Break. We haven't done the X yet, but you know he's better at X than I am. So, but
it's
this will be actually well, I'll re-upload the episodes, but this will be the first episode I put up on the Run the Break YouTube. So if you are a fan of Run the Break, please follow us, like, and subscribe on YouTube as well as the Your Sports Show Network YouTube. Follow the Backstage Brawl on all social media platforms. Follow myself, the Wise Brother, on all social media platforms. Follow my man Ronnie. I get all our names confused, all our donation names confused. I almost called you Ralph. But shout out to Randy. His name came on social media platforms. And listen, we're out. We'll see y'all next week.
all right, man. See y'all next week, man.
Yeah,
all right. Yes, sir.